Do you want to be ahead of the game for the latest in arts, music, cuisine, and entertainment across the Middle East's most dynamic capital cities? Al Monitor is proud to launch our City Pulse newsletters, focused exclusively on local news, starting in Riyadh, Dubai, Istanbul, and Doha. Each week, our on-the-ground writers in these cities cover the latest cultural happenings and trends, so you have everything you need to know for the best local experiences. To subscribe for free, go to almonitor.com, that's al-monitor.com, and sign up on our newsletter page.
Welcome back to the Al Monitor Brief. I'm Adam Lucente. The Jordanian government announced a ban on the Muslim Brotherhood on Wednesday, declaring that membership in the group and promoting its ideas are prohibited. The move follows the kingdom announcing last week that it foiled a plot allegedly tied to the Islamist organization, as well as tensions in the country surrounding the Gaza war. The ban could have major effects on Jordan. The Islamic Action Front, an affiliate of the Brotherhood, performed well in September's elections, and their future is now uncertain. For the Muslim Brotherhood themselves, the decision is another setback after previously being outlawed in Egypt and the Gulf. My guest this episode is Al Monitor contributor Aaron Magid. Aaron, who is currently writing a biography of Jordan's King Abdullah, takes us through why Jordan banned the Muslim Brotherhood now and what the decision means for domestic politics and regional dynamics. Hope you enjoy. Aaron, welcome to the Al Monitor Brief.
Thank you for hosting me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. My first question is a basic one. Why did Jordan make this decision to ban the Muslim Brotherhood?
So the immediate trigger was the arrest of 16 individuals last week inside the Hashemite kingdom who were linked to the Muslim Brotherhood. It was a suspected plot involving missiles, drones, and explosives. Jordanian authorities also said the cell trained partially in Lebanon, making it even more dangerous. For the Jordanian government, this crossed a red line and can't be tolerated. After all, the most destabilizing event in Jordan's history in the past 75 years was the 1970 Civil War, also known as Black September. In a similar event, groups not authorized by the state had their own weapons under the control of the Palestinian Liberation Organization. And this caused a major clash with the Jordanian government that caused about 3,500 to 5,000 individuals killed. So Jordan wants to avoid any type of repeat of this incident. The Muslim Brotherhood has been a significant irritant for the Jordanian government since the Gaza war erupted in October 2023, with massive rallies pressuring the government to annul its 1994 peace treaty with Israel. By announcing this plot and outlawing the Brotherhood, the government likely also hopes to reduce these large demonstrations and put the Brotherhood on the defensive. And then finally, King Abdullah has harbored deep distrust towards the Muslim Brotherhood in Jordan that has gone back for decades. In his famous 2013 interview with Atlanta, King Abdullah called the Brotherhood wolves in sheep's clothing and also a Masonic cult. In 1999, during his first year on the throne, Abdullah expelled Hamas leaders from Jordan, a move that angered the Jordanian Muslim Brotherhood, given their close ties with the Palestinian Islamist organization. There's certainly no love lost between the Hashemite ruler and the Brotherhood.
And in terms of Jordan internally, what effect could the Muslim Brotherhood ban have on the domestic situation, political and otherwise, in the country?
The Muslim Brotherhood and its political wing in parliament, the Islamic Action Front, is the largest and most organized opposition party in Jordan. The question becomes if there's no longer a legal avenue for Jordanians, especially of Islamist background, to voice their displeasure with government policies. Will they then increasingly adopt violent tactics against the Jordanian state, as militant groups have done elsewhere in the Middle East? It's a dangerous possibility for Jordan, especially given how stable the country has been until now, with very little violence, even during the Gaza war.
And how big a setback is this for the Muslim Brotherhood, both in Jordan but also abroad throughout the region?
So in the short term, it's undoubtedly a setback for the Brotherhood in Jordan, as their movement has been slandered among the wider public and their activities are being restricted. But the key here is how aggressive will the security forces be in implementing the regulation inside Jordan. After all, Jordanian security forces closed Muslim Brotherhood offices in 2016 and banned rallies in an earlier crackdown. In 2020, the Supreme Court even issued a rule disbanding the Muslim Brotherhood. But that didn't stop the Islamic Action Front from running in last year's elections and doing quite well, tripling their seats. So the questions remain, will the IAF be able to continue serving in parliament as before? And will the government launch an arrest campaign of thousands of Brotherhood members like in Egypt?
And just a quick follow-up, do we have any indication of how specifically the Islamic Action Front will be dealt with, if at all, in regards to this ban?
So the Jordanian government did launch some sort of operation inside the Islamic Action Front headquarters in Amman a few days ago. So that does show that there is some interest in applying pressure on the Islamic Action Front, but there hasn't been a specific decision whether they're going to be preventing the Islamic Action Front from running in future elections or even disbanding the group right now within the parliament.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with Aaron Magid after this short break.
Today's transformation of the Middle East is at the center of global geopolitics. Whether you're an analyst, diplomat, executive, or academic, you need the best reporting and analysis to understand what's really happening on the ground and what it means for the world. Al Monitor is the award-winning independent leader in Middle East news. From Riyadh to Beirut, Abu Dhabi to Doha, and Baghdad to Tehran, our team of over 100 expert journalists report daily on the top stories driving the regional trends. Download our mobile app and subscribe to Al Monitor to follow what leaders and decision makers are reading every day. Go to almonitor.com, that's AL-MONITOR.com, and use promo code POD25, POD25 for a discount.
Okay, we're back. Aaron, just two more questions about how this affects Jordan's external relations. How might the decision influence Jordan's relationship with Saudi Arabia and also the UAE?
So Jordan's new crackdown against the Muslim Brotherhood definitely aligns the kingdom with the UAE and Saudi Arabia, as both of these Gulf states have adopted harsher policies towards the Brotherhood than Jordan in recent decades. It also might lead to improved ties between the Hashemite Kingdom and Riyadh. At the same time, I don't believe this week's decision, which is quite dramatic, was made for foreign policy reasons. From the Jordanian government's perspective, this is a primarily domestic security threat that could no longer be ignored.
And finally, how could this influence perhaps Jordan's relationship with Turkey and also Qatar, two countries that are historically friendlier with the Muslim Brotherhood?
So it may cause some short-term damage with Qatar and Turkey, as you mentioned, because they both have very friendly ties with the Muslim Brotherhood, but the tensions in this relationship are hardly new. Jordan has repeatedly shuttered the Al Jazeera office in Amman, which is Qatari funded, protesting its coverage. And in 2017, Jordan expelled the Qatari ambassador from Amman as part of the Saudi and UAE pressure campaign. A year later, Qatar offered Jordan $500 million aid package. So Jordan will likely work to eventually mend its ties with Turkey and Qatar, since King Abdullah probably does not view this decision against the Jordanian Muslim Brotherhood as an anti-Qatari or anti-Turkish decision. And amid the pressures facing Jordan, King Abdullah has no interest in additional adversaries across the region.
Aaron, thanks a lot for your time, and we look forward to more of your writing on Jordan.
Thank you very much, Adam. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to the Al Monitor Brief. Be sure to follow Al Monitor for more on the stories impacting the Middle East. Until next time, I'm Adam Lucente.